All right. Hello, guys. I am a little bit early. I'm not usually on this early at all, but I wanted to stop by and talk for a little bit because I'm up a little, well, not up a little bit earlier, but I'm like, I've gotten the stuff that I needed to do in the morning out of the way a little bit earlier than I usually do. So I'm going to come on here and talk for a little bit. Probably not going to be for that long though, because I have a ton of stuff that I would like to get done today. And I'm going to take the opportunity, the fact that I'm not, I'm done with classes to catch up on like schoolwork and crap that I've been neglected, not schoolwork. What am I talking about? This is where my brain is. Housework and stuff that I have been neglecting for quite some time now because, school and stuff and life. But I need to catch up on it because I only have 2 weeks off. And then if I don't do it now, I'm just going to go back to school and not have time to do it again. So here I am. And then yeah, that's why I'm on this early. I'm not usually on this early, so we'll see. We'll see who's around this early. We'll see. We'll see. Hi Mo, good to see you. And yeah, I was gonna do this stream last night. That's what I had it scheduled. I was gonna do like kind of like to discuss after yesterday's live that I did last night. But which is why my little alt, the only alt that I have, by the way, is BBot 2.0 over there, which I use to kind of comment in things. It's not a real bot, it's me. Letting in a little secret, it's me. But I was tired. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna come on in the morning because first of all, I wanted my live from last night to upload because StreamYard sucks and it sometimes takes forever to upload, and then I like miss out on a ton of replay value because people don't know it's there. But it's there now, so I'm like, okay, I can come on now because I didn't want to like confuse it too much when it's already so confused. But I just wanted to thank everybody for joining me last night with the live that we had with my dad, Dr. Frederick Reamer. And it went really, really well. I think that I was just really impressed with some of the insightful questions that a lot of you had. And there was a lot of good conversation going on in the chat. Hi, Mrs. B. Yes, I am live. Hello. I wasn't planning. I don't know what I was planning. Sometimes I plan to go live, and then like when it's time, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it, but I don't necessarily need to have a topic all the time. I'm just for today. This is just kind of like talking, and tomorrow I'm starting up my true crime thing that I'm dedicated. I am dedicated to bringing you guys the kind of content that I brought you last night. That is what I want for my channel. That is what I want to bring people. That is what I want to make a norm here because that yeah, Mo, he will come back. He will come back. And nope, nobody acted up. Nobody scared him away. Thank God. I didn't realize that he could see the chat until later on because I'm usually whenever I've gone on panel on somebody else's panel, which is very, very seldom. I can probably count on one hand the amount of time that I have, but I'm usually on my phone, so I can't see the chat. But he was on a laptop, so I guess you can if you're on a laptop. So I mean, yeah, so nothing in the chat scared him away, which was great. And everybody was very respectful. I don't think I caught any disrespectful things. And that was the amazing part of it, guys. That is what like the point that I want to drive home is that I saw names in there that are from a bunch of different communities. There were also some names I didn't recognize in there too. So that was also that was pretty cool. So I'm not even sure where some of the people were coming from, but I am so glad that they were there and participated. But yeah, there were people from all over, and nobody was even talking about any of the drama. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was, going at each other. Nobody cared. We were just on topic about, this one thing. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So if you are looking for a break from the drama, if you are looking for, maybe a topic and some true crime that, doesn't turn into drama, because let's be honest, we've seen that too. We've seen where people, are starting to do a true crime thing. You see that their live is scheduled and it says, true crime. And you go in and maybe they mention true crime, maybe, but it's drama. It turns into drama. Somebody says something in the chat and then it completely goes off the rails into the, the crazy train and the drama. And that's not what I want for my channel. That's not what I want. So what I want is to bring you guys quality content that I put work into, that I can be proud of, that when people come to my channel, I'm not going to be like, ashamed to share my link. when people ask me what I do on YouTube, I don't want people to, I don't want to feel like I'm doing something, that's not me, if that makes sense. Hey, SA, good to see you. Yeah, Mrs. B. So all of that is posted. It's finally up there from last night. So if you missed it, definitely go check it out. I will probably be restreaming it at some point, probably next week, just in case anybody hasn't seen it, and so we can have like a discussion. And he has agreed to come back. He will come back. And the next topic that I want to do with him is, hi Mishi. The next topic is because starting tomorrow, I will be deep diving into the Columbine massacre, and I will be going through every bit of information that is available publicly. I have requested documents, and I have them, and I have been spending the past almost a week now printing them out because it's literally 11,000 pages. So I don't even have all of it printed at this point, but I am working on it. I actually need more paper. And I'm trying to do it systematically so I can put it in, I know, guys, I know this word has been tarnished, binders, so I can organize it a little bit and have that for you guys. I'm also putting together all of the available media that's confirmed as real, because there is a lot of fake stuff out there that people have put out. So I will only be sharing stuff that is confirmed legitimate, because there's enough of that to share without being boring at all. So we're going to be going into that, and I'm going to be doing that. I'm not sure how many episodes it's going to be, but we're really going to deep dive into it because I have a lot of stuff to say about it. And so that's going to be the next one. So my dad has been interviewed a few times about the Crumbly case, and that sort of stuff, and also about violence in schools and things like that. So he will be coming back on to discuss those things with us. We're going to be doing, like I said, the Columbine massacre, but that doesn't mean that, in that discussion with my dad, we're going to be talking about Sandy Hook. We'll talk about the Crumbly case because I know there's a lot of interest in that. So we're going to do a conversation about that as well, because I would love to hear what you guys think is the solution to that kind of thing, because that's a tough question. I mean, there's a heated debate on it. Like, some people think that, there should be, there's either way. You have the people that don't want guns in schools. You want people that have the guns in schools in case something like that happens. I mean, it really is. It's a heated debate, and it's very relevant right now. So that's a conversation that we're going to have. And my dad's going to present like the clinical evidence as to what works, what signs to look for, his opinion. He actually has an opinion on the Columbine case that I think you guys will find interesting, because I'm not going to lie to you guys. What the media told you about that case is not at all the truth of it. And it took me researching it, because I remember when I first heard my dad's theory on that, I was like, really? Like, where are you getting that from? That doesn't sound right. But after I've done the research, I've looked through the FBI files. The FBI actually agrees with him, and it's really interesting. So I think you guys are going to find what I've come to the conclusion. Well, not just me, but the FBI, my dad in general. So we're going to be talking about that too. And the fact that we could do this last night and it was a drama-free chat, not one person came in and tried to bring drama into this, not one person. And you watched a really good documentary on Prime about, yes, Mrs. B. That's right. I've seen a couple of them. And there are some really, really good ones out there. And I agree. It's an interesting topic. It truly, truly is. And I might be coming at it in a way that might be not an unpopular opinion, but an opinion you guys haven't looked at. And when I first say it, it might seem off to you guys. It might seem, you'll see where I'm going with it, though. I promise. Like, in no way in my coverage of this, I want to come at it with the facts. I feel like a lot of the time when it comes to these things, the shooters get so much media attention, and they get their 15 minutes of fame, and that's all people talk about, when the victims get almost forgotten. I mean, if you look at an example of the Time magazine cover, you have a big picture of the shooters and then a whole bunch of tiny pictures, if any, of the victims. And I think that that's a problem. But we're going to talk about that too. I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but I am going to go into the facts. And the thing about the case is, I'm going to try to do this as respectfully as I can, because that's, I'm coming at things with facts. That's what I'm going to do. So I hope I do it in a way that's interesting for people. But the fact that yesterday went as well as it did was so reassuring and so amazing, because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if somebody was going to come in and say something nasty because it's me who's doing this, or, because there are people that have problems with me for whatever reason, and I don't pick fights with anybody. I don't want to fight with anybody. I don't want to do this, guys. This isn't for me. When I'm looking around in the community and I'm seeing all of this stuff going on, and then I look in the mirror and I'm like, is this something in real life that I would be involved in? And the answer is no. The answer is I wouldn't touch a situation like what's going on in this community with the 10-foot pole in real life. So why am I doing it on YouTube? Why am I involving myself in something like this? I don't want to. That's not what I want for my channel. And obviously, if stuff comes around, I'm part of this community. So I'm not saying I'll never talk about it. But, yeah, in Britain, you have strict gun laws and you have, yes. And I'm actually interested in Mrs. B. I'm interested in hearing what people from outside of the United States think about all this as well. Very, very much so. Because outside of here, especially in the UK, and you guys have and especially, pretty much everywhere actually, have much different gun laws than we do. And I would be very interested to hear what people from outside of the United States think about what goes on here, because it seems to be a very American thing that goes on. And, I don't think there's one right answer. I think there's a lot of different factors that go into it. I mean, it's not as simple as, we need to crack down. It's really not that simple. There's a lot of different things. And I have a strong opinion about it, but I know other people have a strong opinion the other way as well. So I would love to hear somebody who's not from the US's perspective on that. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. And yes, Mishi, I have, that's what I'm saying. The behavior that's going on in this community, I was like, okay, so, if somebody was to ask me, Emma, what do you do on YouTube? Oh, I'd love to check out your channel. What's your channel name? I would be embarrassed to tell them at this point, because if they go to my channel, and I'm not even that bad. So I want to make that very clear. I have done nothing on my channel that I feel that I need to, I'm not ashamed of anything I've done on my channel. I have been respectful. I have not been mean. I really haven't. I've just commented on, stuff that's going on. And a lot of people get bent out of shape about that. It's like they want to say things, but, the minute you say anything at all about them, even if it's not mean or rude, it's literally stating, something that came out of their own mouth. It's a problem. But I don't want to do that anymore, because when push comes to shove, guys, that's not what I wanted for my channel in the first place. I started talking about it because I wanted to go into the psychology of things and whatever. And I don't know. I had a lot to say on the topic, and I felt like, in chats, I couldn't, I'm limited to a bunch of words, and I wanted to have these conversations in more of a small setting. And I wanted to say what I needed to say. And I did. And I said everything that I need to say. I don't need to continue to beat a dead horse. I hate that term, but you guys know what that means. I mean, yeah, where did that even come from? Have you ever wondered where some of these phrases come from? You're like, it has to be based, somebody had to have done that for this to be a phrase, but you guys know what I mean, tangents. But yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be able to offer you guys something different, and it might not even be that popular. I know that a lot of people here enjoy drama. I do too. So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge anybody for that. I don't judge anybody for anything. And I want to make it very clear that, as I've said 1,000 times, and I know this disappoints some people, and I'm sorry if this disappoints you. I'm sorry if this is, you thought that I would be somebody who would take things a different way. But I really, at this point in time, I do not care what chats I see you in. I do not care where you come from on here. I do not care. As long as you are respectful in my chat, that's all that matters to me. You're welcome here. Anybody is welcome here. And I ask that of my chat as well. If you see somebody in the chat who is, maybe in another chat of a creator that you don't care for, or, just be respectful as long as they're not trolling. And if I'll handle it. I watch the chat. My chat obviously isn't a hopping place. So I can monitor it pretty well. And I will not allow that. I will not allow anybody to jump on anybody else on here. I can't let that happen in here. I just want to have something different going on. And I don't think that that's so bad. That's right, Mrs. B. Not everybody can buy a gun, or police do not. Really? I didn't know that your police do not have guns. That's actually very interesting. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mrs. B, I would love to. I'm very interested in that. I had no idea that your police don't have guns. Wow. And obviously that works for you guys too. So, it makes you it's a difficult topic. I mean, but guys, I've seen people discuss politics on here and get a more tame chat than people discussing each other. So, maybe I shouldn't be afraid to go on to that topic here. Because I'm kind of in the middle about a lot of things. I don't I'm very open-minded. I don't and I'm also able to take in new information and reform my opinions based on new things. But I'm not quick to point the finger and say somebody's wrong. I like to hear what people have to say. If you have a strong opinion on something, I want to know why. I've had people explain things to me in a different way that I've been like, you know what, I might want to rethink my own opinion on this because that makes sense. In fact, my dad had a couple things to say yesterday that kind of went against my understanding of things. And I was like, you know what? How he put that makes sense. And that was really awesome. Yeah, so that's available to listen to. If you didn't listen to it yet, be sure to check that out. The chat was great. Everybody was having really great conversations in there, a lot of insightful stuff, a lot of really awesome conversations going on. And I really, really enjoyed that and appreciated it. And the chat was hopping last night. I have not had a chat quite that busy, ever, I don't think. So it was really great. I saw people from all over and a lot of people were really enjoying it. And I wish I could have gotten to more questions, and I apologize to anybody who, had a question that I didn't get to. And I want to, I'm going to be able to present him with more because he's, you guys, you didn't scare him away. So that's good. Because I was kind of worried about that. Like, I was like, I don't know if he can see the chat. I didn't think he could, but I was like, there's a possibility that maybe. I'm like, oh my God, if he sees some of the crap that goes on, because I was trying to tell him about our community. I was trying to, and some of the stuff that I was telling him, the look on his face was like, what are you talking about? People do that? And I was like, oh my God, yes. Because he watches me. He's watched my channel before. Because he's watched my channel, he's clicked on some other people in the community who are creators and their channels. So he's familiar with some of the names, for sure, because he's also asked me about the videos I make. So we've had conversations about those people. But, when I told him that, if I was going to bring people up to ask questions live, I would have to email them my link privately because people like to come up and, I don't know, show parts of themselves that are really inappropriate. He was like, people do that. And I'm like, they sure do. Like, all the time. Like, and this is what people do on the internet. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm telling you guys, the time that, if you try to explain to somebody that's not on YouTube the crap that goes on here, they look at you like you're off your rocker. They really do. And that's what happened. So I was really impressed that people didn't bring that here. So thank you very much to anybody who trolls, to anybody who thought it might be funny to derail something serious that I'm trying to do. I appreciate it very, very much because he's willing to come back. And I think that, because I think he had a good time. So I think that he'll be willing to come back, for whatever I would like him to come back for when I can get, when he's not as busy. And plus over the summer, he's a little less busy. So I will be able to maybe have him on, maybe just for a question and answer session. Yeah, people really do need new hobbies, Mishi. And your husband's team don't have taser. Wow, Mrs. B, that's really interesting. You're in the UK, right? I'm pretty sure I saw you say that. I didn't know that about the UK. I knew that you guys had strict gun laws. I did not know that your police don't have guns. That's very interesting to me. That's very interesting. I actually might look into some of the statistics on that. Because I'm a numbers person too sometimes, and especially with statistics and facts. So I might look into that. That's really interesting. I'd love to see the, there's a word for it. Why can't I think of it? But you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Mo, definitely write your questions down. If anybody has other questions, please email them to me because that's the best way that I could see them. I was trying to frantically copy down people's questions, and I need to remember that I can highlight comments and maybe do it that way. There's a better way to do it. He and I, he came on and he knows how to do StreamYard better than I do at this point, and he's never used it before. Because he came on here and he was like, "Oh, I can share my screen, I can share the audio," and he didn't end up doing that because I think because of my anxiety about it, because I was like, "Oh, it might not work." But he knows what he's doing. So I will definitely have him on here for a question and answer session. I don't know what I could. Oh, you're in Scotland. Okay. I could do that. I could do that live. I'll let people come up. I mean, I don't care. I trust you guys. I do. The people who come into my chat are respectful for the most part. I mean, at least yesterday. So I think I'd be okay with that. Because that's what I want to do here. I don't want to do drama. I don't even want to do crama for that matter. I mean, I don't consider me commenting on the goings on of the community drama. I don't see it that way. I see it as me just commenting because I'm a part of this community. I see it as me talking about what I'm seeing and just discussing stuff like that. I don't see it as me doing drama necessarily. So I'm still going to do that because I am part of this community. I do have a lot to say. The stuff that goes on in this community is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. Like, what is going on? I don't want to be part of it in any way, shape, or form. And it's like the more that you try to get out of it, the more people try to drag you in. And I've noticed that there, for whatever reason, it bothers people for someone else to do different content. It does. It bothers them. And I kind of understand why, but at the same time, it's like, why not just let people do what they want to do? I just don't understand it. I mean, obviously this isn't, I don't know. I've had to think about it. I've had to be like, how do I want to build my channel? But I don't want to build my channel on hurting other people and talking crap about other people and all of that stuff. Or, that's not a channel that I want to build. What I want to build my channel on is a community that can have really good conversations about relevant and, poignant topics. That's what I want to do, where people can feel like they can be heard and share their opinions, no matter what it might be. Because like I said, I'm very open-minded. So even if you don't share my opinion, and this goes for things that are like political, this goes for things that are everything like that, I'm willing to hear people out because I don't just assume that because I believe something that it's right. I think that's a really dangerous way to look at things. I think that people should always be open to learning more. Because sometimes I don't have all the facts, and sometimes I haven't looked at something that way. And sometimes I've had conversations with people where they've put something in a way that I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. Maybe how I'm looking at it is wrong. And I think that that's the healthy way to do it. So I don't judge other people for their views on things, because we all come from all walks of life. We all come from different upbringings, different religious beliefs, different political beliefs, and all of those things contribute to what you end up believing as a person, your core values, your morals, what you believe is the right way to do things. And, for me not to even listen to that, that's kind of ignorant of me. I'm always wanting to learn. I want to learn, just because, because I'm not always right. I'm not a genius. I'm not going to just be dead set in my ways and, dig my heels in and say that, what I believe is right and the truth. And, because that's not true. And those are the conversations I want to have. And I know those conversations can get heated, but like I said, guys, I have seen people in this community discuss politics, and the chat is like 1,000 times more tame than what I'm seeing otherwise. So, we can go there. I think people are more willing to be respectful about politics than they are about the drama these days. And that's saying something. That, guys, that is an eye-opener. That is an eye-opener. So you think everyone has calmed down. You wake up in the morning and a whole lot of new things have happened. It's not enjoyable. Yeah, that's how I feel. And I mean, I sleep at night, so I miss a lot of the weird stuff that goes on. And then when I come on, it's been deleted half the time. So a lot of it I miss. And like I said, like I was talking about like what kind of grinds my gears here. And one of the things that really grinds my gears, and I'm not even sure why, is every day that I wake up, I go on my YouTube because I check it because I have a channel. So I want to see if anybody's commented on anything I need to respond to. It's like my looking into the news every morning. So I go on, and in my recommended, there's at least every day at least 2 or 3 new channels, with some of them with names that I recognize from chats, others that don't have that that are talking about other people in this community. And I always see that and I'm like, why? Why? Like, do we not have enough people here? We're going to look at this from a business standpoint, guys. All right. I'm going to put this down for you the simplest way I can. So let's look at this community as a market, right? So this is a market. This market is oversaturated with similar products. So if you're coming into this community and you think you're going to make it big, talking about, the stuff that other people have made it big talking about, you're not, because there's not enough demand for this type of channel. It's already oversaturated. All of those major brands, like the ones with the brand recognition and brand loyalty, those have already been established. If you're coming in here and you're just gonna, position yourself in a market in a similar way to these bigger channels, you're not going to. Those roles have been filled. You're not going to make it big coming into this community and doing what everyone else is doing. You're just not. You might get a couple subs, you might build your channel a little bit, but there's not enough demand. And the more channels that come into this market, the worse it's going to get. But people will learn that for themselves. And I think people need to think bigger than that. Now, if you're one of the big channels, you're one of the ones that, have they're not included in my little rant about that. They're the brands that people are going to flock to. And they'll do just fine. But as for, all of these channels that come out every single day, whether it be a clip channel or, one that's, it's usually clip channels. What's the point, guys? How many times do we have to say the same things? And it's the same lives that people are doing clips of. And it's like, they're so similar. Like, who's bringing anything new to this community at this point? And I mean, I'm not trying to say that I am either, because up until recently, I have not been. I didn't. I was bringing the same stuff too. And so I'm not like pointing the finger at anybody else when I haven't done the same thing. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to talk about the realizations that I've made in this. So, that's what I've learned as, somebody who does marketing and business. If you're going to enter a market, you need to either do something better or do something different to position yourself in a market in a way that you'll be successful. And I feel like people are doing none of those things. And even myself. So I want to do something different, but I don't necessarily just want to the reason I've said it a billion times, the reason I'm in this community is because I like the people here. I like talking to you guys. I recognize the names that come into my chat every time I go live. And that's why I'm here. I didn't want to start a channel in a community that I'm not familiar with, that, where I don't get to talk to the people that I consider friends. But I also don't want to just limit myself to that, because this is not going to work. This is not going to work. So, the more channels that come out, and it's like every single day, it's not going to work out, guys. It's not. And, ultimately, yes, I am on here to build my channel, but I want to build a brand that I'm proud of. That when, like I said, when somebody asks me, because I was asked this, because, at the end of the class, we're asked to network. We're asked to share our, what we do for a living and our, to network, because I'm in grad school for digital marketing. So, and also, business. So it's a good way to network at the end. And I didn't feel comfortable putting my YouTube channel at the end of this last one. And other people were plugging their YouTube channels because they do something legitimate. But I was like, I do not want my name associated with this crap. I just don't. And I'm not saying that I'm, knocking anybody who is, because obviously there are people who have been quite successful doing that. And if you're making money, you're making money. Like, I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, for me personally, the market is so oversaturated, guys. It's pointless. It's pointless, guys. The brands, you're trying to bust your way into a shoe industry when, we already have the Nikes, Adidas's, the Reeboks. We have all of those already taken. You come out with a new pair of shoes that are similar to the same ones that people are already buying. No one's going to look at you twice. They might buy one pair of your shoes, but they're not going to do it again, if that makes sense. This is how I think, guys. I'm sorry. I think in business, I think in marketing. This is how I think. I got an email from somebody once that said that I was dehumanizing people by talking about people as numbers, but that's just how my mind works. And I have to make that really clear with you guys. I always think of things as a business analogy, because, that's one thing that Natasha has right? Like the way that she says it. And I know people make fun of it. And now we're not going to talk about whether what she does is right or wrong or whatever, but she does. She refers to her YouTube as a business, and you can run your YouTube as a business. It becomes your brand, and that means that those rules apply. And yeah, I'm glad, Mishi, that I'm glad to see that there are people in this chat like Mishi, Mrs. B, Mike, and Mo that are like supportive of this kind of thing. And that, yeah, the drama is recycled. And right. And the problem is that the drama is so recycled that people are going to ridiculous lengths to create new drama. And that's where I have to draw the line. And I'm not, the problem that I've run into is that I like a lot of I've watched some of the creators in here for almost a year now, and there used to be true crime. This used to be true crime, and then there would be some drama, involved in that. But now I haven't seen anybody do true crime in a really long time. And I'm disappointed. Even ones that I've seen that were scheduled that were supposed to be true crime, I went on and it was drama. For whatever reason. And I was just like, what is going on here? But there are still some creators here that I like and I've, supported for almost a year now that, maybe are doing some things right now that I'm not too happy about, but I don't feel comfortable going in chats anymore. I can't even go into a chat without somebody saying something. And I don't think that's fair. It's not fair. Like, why does me going into a chat, wanting to talk to my friends mean that I am condoning every single thing that creator has done? I have enjoyed some of these creators for a year now. And at this point, I don't even care. So if you want to judge me for where I am, what chats I go into, all of those things, just know that, like, I am not a part of this. So I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm going to, chat where I want to chat. I'm going to support who I'm going to support. That's just the reality of it. And I'm going to give people that benefit of the doubt too. I don't care what chat I see you in. I don't care if you're in Natasha's chat. I don't care if you're in Granny's chat. I don't care if you're in Dorothy's chat. I don't care if you're in Kim and Crafton's chat. I do not care. That's what YouTube is. It's entertainment. You are supposed to support and enjoy the creators that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be like a morality thing. When it becomes a morality thing, guys, is when you're participating in the abuse or you're financially contributing to motivating that abuse. That is where morally, for me personally, it crosses the line. But if you're just in somebody's chat, just talking to other people and being rational, you're not, bashing somebody. You're not, I think you guys know the difference, and I don't understand how it's gotten blurred. You're allowed to talk about somebody else in a chat. I have seen people talk about me in chats. And it's done in a way that I can't detest. I can't argue. If you don't think I did something correctly or, you don't trust if I'm sincere about something, that's fine. You can write that. I don't have a problem with that. You're allowed to feel the way that you feel. I don't take that as you bashing me. I don't take that as anything like that. And I've seen it. There are some people that were like, I don't think, Emma handled that correctly, or I'm unsure about, her motives or whatever. And I understand that. And I've had to, like I said, I've had to tell myself that. A lot of people here have been burned. A lot of people have had, creators come on here and claim to be all sorts of things. And then they turn out to be something completely different, and they feel betrayed, or they're left in the middle. Or you have creators that, they felt that were, had similar beliefs to them, but then all of a sudden they flip for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So people here have been burned, including myself. And I think that that's valid. So, in time, I think that people will see that I am who I say I am. Honestly, I really am. I have nothing to hide at this point, and the only thing that I had to hide was brought to, everybody's attention, without my permission. And, you guys can kind of see why I wouldn't come on here and talk about that. Now, you see the family I come from. You see what my dad does for a living. You see, how I was raised. And, you think to yourself, you're like, well, how can somebody that comes from a background like that end up in the situations that you have, Emma? And the fact of the matter is, guys, is that addiction knows no demographic. It knows no race, no gender, no nothing. It can affect anybody. And, I was adopted. So, Dr. Reamer is my adoptive dad. They adopted me at birth. And, but that doesn't mean that I felt I didn't have a hard time growing up. I did. I had a really rough childhood, because of my issues that I had. And, I handled things in the wrong way, and I made really bad choices in my life. Um, but I didn't want to come on here and I've always been ashamed and embarrassed, and I feel like an embarrassment to my family. I feel like I have let my family down. I know I have. I've done some really awful things. Um, and I have spent a really long time now, building back my relationship with my family, with my dad, with my mom, with my sister, relationships that I had done some really not great things in, and then, ignored. And because I was so ashamed, just disappeared. Um, and I'm really working on that. But you know what I mean? So like that's why I didn't bring this on here, because I did want to do true crime, but just because of who my dad is and the family, like, you know, when you have a career like that, and people just assume that you're an expert on those things and that your child wouldn't have those issues. But it's really different when it's your own kid. You can know how to handle it when it's anybody else, because my mom is a social worker as well. But when it comes to your own child, it gets difficult. You can know it's best practice, but it's your child, and then things. I don't blame anybody. The only person that I have to blame for my issues is myself. Um, but that's why I didn't come on here and disclose that, because first of all, I'm not a recovery channel. I don't feel like I have any business being a recovery channel. I just don't. So, um, but that is what that was. So that's why, like, when it was revealed to everybody, like, I had no interest in sharing that. If people asked, I would have been honest. I've been open about the fact that I've had issues in some of my lives that I've done about my experiences in the troubled teen industry. I actually feel like I may have mentioned some of those things as well in there, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, right, Mo, that's right. I don't co-sign 100% of what any one person does, not even a whole show. Right. If you see something I don't condone, I leave. That's right. Because how many times, guys, how many times have you gone into a live and it starts off on one topic, and then it is, further on down the line, maybe somebody comes in the chat and, pokes the bear and, gets that creator going in a whole other direction that might be something you're not comfortable with. So you leave the chat, either, or you don't. Sometimes, but half the time, guys, I have ADD, like diagnosed, medicated ADHD. I have been diagnosed, medicated since age 6. Yeah, that is what led to a lot of my behavioral problems. So, I'm half the time not listening. So I'll either have the volume down, and half the time I'm also not watching. So when I'm listening to a live, I'm listening. Usually my phone's in my pocket. I'm on a walk. So if things are being shown on the screen, like screenshots or whatever, I don't see those things, first of all. Second of all, I often don't finish lives, because how long are these lives sometimes? People are on here for hours and 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 hours and, just hours. So I get bored. And a lot of the time people are talking about something that's boring to me. So I'll switch off of it or I'll go back. So I miss a lot of stuff too. And, but all it takes is somebody seeing my name in that chat. All it takes. And they assume that I was there for the entire live and was. But I challenge people, if you find something that I said about somebody directly that is rude, mean, or bashing, I challenge somebody to do that, because the only time that I have done that is something that I have owned. And I've apologized privately to the people I have said things to, and they know that. But they're not the ones that are saying that I've done those things. It's other people. So yes, there's that as well. And thank you, Mo. But things like addiction, they come with a lot of shame. There's a lot of shame that surrounds that. Because it drives people to do things that suck, that are really, really bad, and things that they normally, they wouldn't have done otherwise. Like I do, I'm a good person. I've never not, I'm a good person. I care about other people. I'm empathetic. I'm compassionate. I'm helpful. I have no desire to hurt people, and I never have. But things drive people to do weird things, and that I've had to accept that. I've had to accept the fact that I've done the things that I've done, and I've acknowledged it, and it's been a journey to even acknowledge that I've done those things. I've had to say out loud, yes, I did that. I did that. Nobody else did that. that was me. And it was really hurtful. So, it's taken a lot to rebuild those relationships, but I've done it, and I'm working on it every day. Um, and I think that, I'm just honored that my dad is proud of what I'm doing. My dad stands behind my YouTube channel. Obviously, he wouldn't come on here if he didn't. Um, and that means everything to me. It means everything to me that even my mom will be actually coming on for a panel as well soon. I actually talked to her last night after the show. And she's very happy. She's a social worker, but her focus is, she's an adoption specialist. She also does a lot of, like, but it's not relevant to YouTube, but she also specializes, she does a lot of homeless outreach. She also is really involved in training social workers to work in a medical setting, such as in hospitals or, doctors' offices, and stuff like that. So, and having to, because a lot of the time doctors, they're trained in medical stuff, but a lot of them aren't trained in the mental health kind of thing. So they're trying to incorporate, at least here in Rhode Island, they're trying to incorporate more mental health care into the healthcare system, which I think is really a great idea. But so I'm adopted, obviously. So my mom's going to come up and she's going to help me tell my story about my adoption, my struggles, the stuff like that, and also look at, like, the statistics of what the best practice is for that. And I know that there are several people in the community who are adopted or have had or are adoptive parents. Hey, Rhody gal. Or adoptive parents, or, had a sibling that was adopted. And a lot of people have emailed me that want to share their experience. So this is going to be an open panel where people are going to be able to come up and share their experiences. Cause I'm curious, cause, adoption stories they vary. They're different. My stories, some people want to have contact with their birth parents. I do have contact with mine. They are great people, and I have no hard feelings against them whatsoever. Both of them they're also success stories who have worked really hard to get their lives together. And, after 30 years, they're now married, and I got to go to their wedding. So that was definitely an experience, but, not everybody has that experience. Some people don't know their birth parents, so that's affected them in some way, or they have, no interest in that, so everybody's story is different. So we're going to be doing that as well. And that's the kind of content I want to bring you guys. I want to do true crime. And then I want to do chit chats like this in between, where I can come on here and kind of just chat with you guys about whatever's on my mind, or, because I am part of this community. So I'm not leaving the community. I still watch the people that I watch. I enjoy the creators I enjoy. And I really encourage all of you to do the same. So much. You shouldn't be ashamed or feel bad for, enjoying the creators that you enjoy. Just enjoy them. If they do something that you don't care for, everybody does. I mean, look at what's going on. Everybody is behaving badly. I really don't think I can name one person that hasn't behaved badly, including myself in some ways. Like, that's just how it is. And I know that a lot of people wanted me to stay on here as a channel that, just talks about Natasha or whatever, but that's not what I want for my channel. I know a lot of people have strong opinions on certain creators. I get that. And that doesn't mean that I don't have those opinions as well. That doesn't mean that I don't, prefer other creators over others. There are certainly creators I don't care for. But I don't watch them. Or sometimes I do, because, that's what we do. Sometimes we hate watch. I'm guilty of it. But at the same time, like, I just, that's not what I want for my channel. I don't want that. First of all, like I said before, the market is oversaturated with that. There are so many channels that are doing clip videos of the same things. Like, I don't know how many more times I am going to hear that live. You guys know the live I'm talking about. The one that was on Amanda Zananda's channel. I do have a video with it that I am going to be putting out, but you'll see what it's about. And I think it's not making fun of any one person at all. You'll see what it's going to be. It's an interesting video. I think, and it's kind of like my departure video of things. But that's the thing, though. I just, if you like Natasha, you like Natasha. At this point, like, it's not a crime to, support Natasha or support Granny's Watching or support Dorothy. Like, if you like that creator, you like that creator. I mean, why? Who am I to judge? And yeah, Mike, the real true crime channels are doing great. And, I don't know if I'll be any good at it, but I'm sure going to give it a try. And I do have that unique thing to offer. I mean, my dad has a lot of experience in this field and has a lot of expert, input and stuff about things that he's willing to share on my channel. And I know that he was watching the chat, and he even said that a lot of you guys had some really insightful comments. A lot of you had some really, really great questions. And I think he was impressed by our community. He definitely, I know he was impressed with our community. So, I warned him, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, nobody was rude or mean or anything like that. So, I mean, because I had warned him, I was like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, there's a very large possibility that there will be people that come in and, say some really awful stuff because that's what this community is doing. And, unfortunately, because I had said those things, I guess he went into it thinking that maybe that's what people were going to do. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, people were really respectful. So, there's that. So that just proves, guys, that we're able to do that. We're able to do that. And I appreciate that more than people know. More than people know. I don't think I had one person come in who said anything rude or inappropriate. And that was great. And I saw names that I've seen all over in that chat, and it was really great. So thank you to you guys, because I know it's not always easy to be respectful when you see somebody who maybe behaves not so great in another chat, because I certainly had a couple of those names in there, but I don't hold that against people. Like, as long as you're respectful in my chat, that's really all I care about. And if people see your name in my chat and they say something to you that's not so nice or rude, I will call them out. I will call them out, because I don't want that for my chat. All I want is that people get along, because I have content to offer, and it's not limited to just one. If you want to watch my dad talk about the parole board, that in no way means that you support one creator or another. And anybody who says otherwise is delusional. Because I am not here to, yeah, he is proud of me, Mike. And that's what that's what keeps me, going on here. Like, and that's also what made me really think about it too, though, because it was like, when I'm asked, because he wants to share my channel with people. And I was like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that, because here I am talking about ridiculous things that I don't really want to talk about anymore. I don't want to, and I know that's upset some people. But what I want to make really clear, guys, is, people are like, well, if you stop talking about Natasha, then it's because she owns you and, you're siding with her. That's not true, guys. I'm not over here, on Natasha's panel. She's not in my chat. She's not on my panel. This has nothing to do with Natasha. So please separate my name from those names. Please. I will talk about things as they come up, because I am part of this community. But in no way am I here to side with anybody. I'm not here to go to somebody's, to somebody's community so I can, that's not what I do. I'm going to stand alone on my channel. If people want to be a part of it, that's great. If they don't, then that's also okay. But I also want to be clear that because I'm part of this community, and people have asked me, they're like, why don't you just make an alt? Well, I don't want to make an alt. This is who I am. The only alt I have is BBot 2.0. which is me. So you'll know if it's me. And it was because I locked myself out of this account when I switched to an iPhone back in July. And it wasn't Beebot. I renamed it. At that point, I don't remember what I put. I think I had my name. It was like Emma S or something. But that's the thing. I don't want to be under an alt. I've gotten to know all of you as myself. I don't want to create somebody else and have to make those connections and, be secretive with who I am. I just want to go to the chats that I want to go to. I want to listen to who I want to listen to. And I really encourage all of you to do the same. And just know that if I see you in another chat, I don't care about any of that. Just you're welcome here. You truly are. And people will be respectful to you here. As long as you're not in here, I don't want other, what is this about? That's a good question. We're just chit-chatting right now, Thanos. this particular live is just kind of recapping what went on last night with I had Dr. Frederick Reamer, who also happens to be my dad, on to talk about his 24 years on the parole board. But for right now, this is just kind of chit chat. So no particular topic on this one. And that's what I'm going to be doing, guys. It's going to be a mix. So I'm doing a series. I'm going to call it True Crime Detective. I thought that was fun. I almost want to change my name to it, but everybody knows me as BeePlus now. And like I said, the origin story for BeePlus is I was looking at a grade I had gotten on a paper, and I was trying to quickly switch my name really quickly. For reasons that everybody in this community can understand, back in November, maybe. And I was like, I want something really, like, I was like looking at, I was like, oh, okay, BeePlus. And obviously it's stuck now, and I'm making it part of my branding, and we are working, we're going to use this, we're going to go with it. But yeah, so I'm going to try to make things like bee puns, but I'm going to be doing that. And the series that I'm going to be doing, and I'm starting it tomorrow night, is going to be on the Columbine Massacre. We are going to deep dive into it. We are going to unturn every rock. I know YouTube does not like this topic. I'm really hoping I don't get censored on it, because I will be talking about any and everything that I have to offer with it. I requested the 11K, which is the 11,000 page document that was put out by the Jefferson County and the FBI about what's my primary content. That's a good question, Thanos. So going forward, I will be doing mostly true crime. So I'm going to be doing mostly true crime, deep diving different topics that interest me, having special guests on. And that's what I want to do. And in between, we're going to have like chit chats like today, like what I'm doing here, which is just kind of chatting with the community. But mostly true crime. That is what I'm doing going forward. That is what I'm comfortable labeling my channel as. So if you're into true crime, I have some really good stuff coming. And I wanted to do the Columbine case, just because we're coming up on the anniversary of it. Obviously it was April 20th, 1999. And I feel like, in order to deep dive into this, it's going to take that many episodes. So I don't know if I'm going to do it maybe once or twice weekly. We'll see how it goes. But I'm putting a lot of effort into it. I am putting it, it's going to be a visual experience. It's going to be all of that. So any piece of available media that I have, I will be sharing with you guys. I also have some smaller creators, and by smaller, I still mean bigger than mine. So true crime is kind of, your wife listens to true crime podcasts all the time. There are some good ones. I used to be more into true crime podcasts than I am now. I don't know. I feel like some of them have gotten boring. And that's, yeah. But the other thing that we're going to be doing, though, is we also talk about like weird true, like, I'm trying to think of how to put it, like the weird stuff, like Coast to Coast AM stuff. So like, the disappearances in the national parks, talking about, like aliens and cryptozoology and stuff like that. I'm also doing some lives on that as well, because that's a topic that interests me as well. Like, kind of like the paranormal stuff and whatnot. So I know that's also not everybody's cup of tea, but I will be doing something at least once weekly about that. And I'm going to be starting that next week, because I am officially off of the drama. Officially. I am not doing it anymore. And I never wanted to. I'm not good at it. I suck at drama, guys. I suck at it. It's not my nature. It's so far from what I am capable of doing. But I will be talking about what goes on in this community, being the Krama community. Although I consider this community drama entirely at this point, because, the study of human behavior. So that's actually one of the main things, though, is that I like to look at things through a psychological standpoint. I also am doing a series with my dad, who's Dr. Frederick Reamer, who's going to come on and help with this, about the psychology behind social media and why people behave the way that they do on social media, especially when they don't behave like that in real life. So the different personality types that are attracted to, even something like being a YouTube creator or trolls or things like that. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of stuff about human behavior as well, actually. That's actually a good like targeted thing, but I do. Well, I'm glad that you found me. I don't know how some people find me, but I do have a lot of energy. And I've had people come in here, and I don't think they were being rude, but they were like, how do you talk for hours? And I'm like, very easily, it's ADHD. it drives my parents crazy. I think guys could probably tell that in the live from last night. Like I would start talking and my dad was like, "Oh no, here we go." So I had to be really careful not to interrupt because I do interrupt a lot. And I try not to. But we're gonna have some panels. Like I also have some other special guests in the criminology field and stuff. People don't like the way you speak. Oh, Thanos, I'm sorry to hear that. I try to give everybody a chance on how they speak. I don't, but for me, the way, when I think of how people speak, I think of, really good books that I enjoy because I like to read. But, with the audiobook, sometimes there are narrators that I can't. Like the narrator ruins the book because they're just, however, I'm attracted to some voices more than others, but I never thought anybody would want to listen to me because my family certainly doesn't. I talk a lot. I do. But this is perfect for me then. So I was like, you know what? Why not? In this community, I'm not sure what part of YouTube that you're familiar with, Thanos. I'm not sure what communities you come from or where you watch. But in the one that most of the people that are here are from, it's really just people that come up on here and they talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I was like, why not me? So, I was like, I could do that. I can talk for hours and hours and hours. But, for right now, today's topic is just like chit chatting, just because prior to this, I was doing something different. I was talking about basically the behaviors of things that went on YouTube, because in this community in general, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that are just these toxic behaviors that, I don't feel like people would behave in real life that way. And I'm trying to figure out why people do that. But it got derailed and, because people don't want to hear you talk about that. So obviously they want to drag you into it. And I took the bait. And I shouldn't have. So I'm kind of redirecting my channel here. So I did a video not too long ago about the different series that I want to do. So I'm going to be doing the true crime detective. I'm also going to be talking about the weird stuff, the coast to coast AM themed thing, but I am also talking about the behavior stuff. So I am definitely doing a series on the psychology behind social media and the stuff that goes on here, because it's fascinating. If you see some of the stuff that goes on social media and the way people behave, you can't help but wonder. You're like, people can't behave like this in real life. Like this can't be real, because I know I wouldn't. And it just makes you wonder, like the types of personalities that are drawn to behaving that way. What drives people? Like, is it because they feel like they can't behave that way in real life because they don't feel like they have control in real life? Because I've seen that happen. There are some people that, they spend their time at work and they're bossed around and they're beat down and all of that stuff. But I find it extremely difficult to find someone and speak honestly. Yeah. That's fair. I think a lot of that, Thanos, is because when people have their channels, a lot of the time people want to, it's recommended anyway that you pick a topic and stick with it, but I can't do that. I'm all over the place. So I'm trying to like funnel that into specific categories. But that's what I'm saying with chats like this. When I do my chit chats, it can go any which way. I can talk about just about anything. And I try to be, I go with whatever the chat wants to talk about with this. And, I'm just kind of recapping because I had a really, really, really great live that happened last night. So my dad, who came on, and he was on the parole board for 24 years, and he came on to talk about his experience on that. So, and his background is in social work psychology. So his area of expertise is why people do the things that they do, with that lack of a better word. So that was an interesting way. And he's going to be coming on here more to discuss that, especially with the social media thing, because I think but my whole thing with true crime is figuring out what makes people behave the way that they do. I've always been fascinated with that because, you'll have some crimes that you'll see and, that person exhibited no signs of being capable of doing some of those things. And then usually you'll have a category of a motive or something that contributed to it that you can fit people into, whether it be, money, addiction, like a crime of passion, stuff like that. But sometimes you can't, some people just don't fit into any of that. Like, they don't have a history of mental illness. They don't have a substance abuse problem. They don't have, it was like, and you can't really figure it out. And those are the people that really spark my interest anyways. And that's what I'm interested in. But yeah, for today, I'm just kind of chatting. I mean, yeah, in this community that I've been a part of for a year now. It used to be true crime. Now it's solely drama. Basically people talking about each other and going into people's real lives and doing background check. It's a mess. And I don't want to have anything to do with it. But I hope people like it. I hope people like where I'm going with this. I think some people do. I think there are a lot of people that are a little sick of the drama. Not to mean that they're not going to go watch it when it comes up, but they want something else. They want to have another option, and those options have become more and more few and far between. And I think and people are like, well, you could just go to another community. Well, yeah, you could go to another community. That's very true. But a lot of us here, I mean, we're kind of like a close-knit community. So a lot of us have, built connections here. A lot of us have, made, built relationships or friendships, and we like to talk to each other. So we want to be able to stay in this community and have those connections, because you can't guarantee that somebody you've built a connection would follow you. Just what I mean. So people want more options in here. Yeah, you can relate to how some people. Yeah, and that's that. Yeah, you can relate to how. Right. Well, that's interesting too, though. I mean, I think a lot of us are capable of thinking, because you never know how you're going to react to something, or else you're in that situation, if that makes sense. A lot of us can say that we wouldn't do certain things. A lot of us would say that we could never do X, Y, or Z, but given certain circumstances or situations. So, well, I'm glad that there are Thanos. I'm glad that there are things keeping you grounded. Because going down that road is not a road that you want to go down. I assure you of that. But I'm glad that you do have those things. And I hope that you continue to have those things that keep you grounded, because that's what a lot of us need. And I think that that's really important. Yeah, because it's just always important. It's always important to have those kinds of things. And there are some people that, have, there's a lot of different kinds of people on this planet. A lot. No, I'm not hesitating. I'm trying to think of the best way to address that. But I get what you're saying. I've definitely, I mean, there's definitely sometimes, I mean, I've done things that I'm not proud of, for sure, but I think that there's always, there you go, though. You have a family, and there's, what I'm trying to say, I think, is that, there are a lot of times people write people off as, crazy, or, there's something wrong with them. But I think that given, like, it's all about circumstances. So for me, it's like, if you have those things to keep you tied to reality, tied to the real world, tied to, staying on track, and those things, I appreciate honesty. By all means, I do. And I'm glad that you have those things, because I think that there's, I don't think that everybody who, what am I trying to say? I just think that people really, like, if you have those connections, it works. And I think that there are people that, go down certain paths because they don't have those things keeping them tethered to being, going in the right path. And I think that that's great that you do, but I think that's important. I think that a lot of times people lose sight of that. A lot of people just write people off as crazy or whatever. But I think if people had different circumstances, if people were plugged into different things in life that gave them a purpose and meaning, I feel like that makes a huge difference for a lot of people. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And I think we try to understand why people do the things that they do. Makes human nature less scary to us as someone who studies psychology. Yeah, humans are fascinating yet terrifying. Absolutely, they are. Hey, Crystal. They absolutely are, because human nature. I mean, we all look at like horror movies and stuff, but human nature is just as scary sometimes. And the fact of the matter is that, yeah, there's just sometimes I think true crime is scarier than some of like the fictitious like horror movies that come out. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, so when we cover the Columbine case, right? That's the stance that I'm coming from. I think that, the reality of what I believe happened based on the information that I have is much scarier than what the media had put out. And what the media put out, I believe, is false. I believe that the media used it to push political agendas and their own agendas on stuff. So, yeah. Well, that's true, Thanos. I think that too. I think that I get that. I get that. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say about that kind of thing. But I'm glad that you're on the straight and narrow. But if you can relate to that, that's a really interesting thing to be able to relate to. I mean, if you know how that thinking works, that does. I think that is in the minority. I do. So that's really kind of insightful. Because I agree with you. I don't think a lot of people can relate to that. And I'm yeah, because I was gonna say I'm very, very, very hesitant to call anybody evil, but I do think evil exists. I do. It certainly does. But yeah, it's complicated because they don't they don't want to just like. We're going to be talking about that though, like the psychopathy, sociopath thing. That's very, very, very relevant in the Columbine case. So based on the information I have, so we are going to talk about that too, because I think it's unique. I don't think everybody that goes and commits those types of crimes are psychotic. I don't believe that at all. I believe that there are a lot of other motives that fall into it. However, in this case, I think that what we were looking at was a true case. But we're going to go into that. That starts tomorrow. Um, that, oh, Crystal, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. You had some good questions actually. But he will be coming back. My dad, we didn't scare him away. We didn't scare him away, which is great. We didn't. Everybody in the chat was respectful. And nobody did any of the things that I was worried about. So he definitely is going to come back. Like I said, the next topic that we're going to cover is the violence in schools and, the psychology behind that and what different, because it's not a one size fits all, the reasons that people do things. Cover any British crimes. I'm trying to think if I know of any ones that you know what, Mrs. B, I'm going to have to look into that because I think that there are a few British crimes that I believe that I'm thinking of that are really interesting. But if you have any suggestions, my email is scrolling across the bottom there. Feel free to send me an email. And any suggestions that you have, because I would love to cover some British crimes because it sounds like how you guys do like criminal justice is very different than how we do it in the US. So I think that it would be interesting to look at like the process and the stuff that goes on over there, because I think that it's very different than here. And I always like, as an American here, I just always like assume that things, I think that there's a word for it. The fact that Americans think everything is like America. There is definitely a word for that way of thinking because I think it's true, at least with myself. So I think it's really interesting that you guys do things fairly differently over there. And yeah, oh God, what is the one I'm thinking of? There is a crime that I'm thinking of that I would love to cover, and I believe it's from the UK. It might be Ireland. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna look into it. But if you have any suggestions, please, please, please let me know. But yes, Crystal, my dad will be coming back, and I think we're gonna, but I think that there were enough questions yesterday about the parole board, about all of that I wouldn't mind having him come up just for like a question and answer session for people. If you're comfortable coming up on panel, if you want to ask him directly or in the chat. I always forget that you can, Mrs. B, that is actually on my list. That is on my list of cases that I am going to do a very deep dive of, because I also have quite a bit of information on that too, the West Memphis 3. And there's also like new developments in that case, sort of, that I would love to. And those are great documentaries, guys. If you haven't seen Paradise Lost and like the ones after, I think there were like 2 more after that. There's also West of Memphis. There's a couple others that have come out. If you haven't watched those, they are great. That is like one of the OG true crime documentaries. And it's definitely eye-opening. And I actually I own most of Damien Eccles' books, actually. And I have obviously The Devil's Knot, and then there's a sequel that just came out to that by that same author about the developments in that case. But that's another one that I'm going to be deep diving into, and that I had planned for this summer. That was the one that I had. Yeah, I'm working on that as well. So I'm planning on doing the violence in schools. That was on my list of being the next one to do for the deep dive, actually. So it's interesting that you mentioned that. Because I know that there's a lot of coverage on that one, but I haven't seen a whole lot of coverage necessarily on YouTube of it. I might not just not be looking in the right places, but not in the way that I want to do it. So you guys, yeah, I'm sure you do. I know that there's one that I'm thinking of in the UK, and I cannot for the life of me remember what the name was. And I'm like driving myself crazy because of it. So there's definitely some missing person cases from the UK that grabbed my interest. And there's two that come to mind. And I can't for the life of me remember. One of them, I think one of their names was Andrew. I don't know. It was one, I'm trying to think. You know, Thanos, I don't disagree with you on that. I think that society does dictate the norms of what is right and wrong. I do agree with you on that. I do. I have that view of something different, but yeah, I agree. And societal norms have changed throughout time. So there are things that were perfectly acceptable a long time ago that is now like demonized. I think of the doctor that killed his. Really, is that UK, Mishi? That's interesting too. I need to look into some of those cases. I do. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Thanos. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Moral values and stuff has changed throughout time based on need and all sorts of things. So I think that's also an interesting thing to look at. I know that that's definitely controversial, but you know, when you look at just the facts, I'm trying to find on my bookshelf. Hold on, guys. If I have that for the other one, let's see. I don't. I'm trying to think of the other one. There's another case that I really wanted to deep dive into, and can't for the life of me find it. Okay, well, I will find it. I had a book on that. Harold Shipman, hundreds of victims. Really? I need to look into that. That's a very large amount of victims there. Yeah, that's very true. That's very, very true. It is so hot in this room. Oh my god. This back bedroom is like, you would have to have the air conditioner on in the wintertime, because it is the only room that the heat like really, really works in, because it's so small and it's got like wall-to-wall heaters on all sides. And oh my god. But I have to keep the door closed, otherwise the dogs will come in and be very, very rude. But oh my god, I have to open the window. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to stop on here and talk about, you know, the direction of my channel and what I would like to do, because I want to be clear about that. Yesterday was just so encouraging. Yesterday was wonderful. Like the fact that we could come on here, we could have those discussions, people were really interested in it, and not a single person came in and trolled. That just told me that, you know, this community can handle having that go on. And I'm very, very, very grateful to you guys for that. Because I was really nervous. I was nervous all day. I was almost like in my head, I was like, I want to cancel this. I don't know if this is going to work. Oh my God, this is going to be awful. My dad is going to hate it. Like, I don't know. But, you know, you guys proved me wrong, and you guys were awesome. And he really enjoyed it. He said that a lot of you guys had some really, really, really interesting perspectives on things. Interesting questions, really insightful. He thought the conversation that went on from what he was actually looking at, because he didn't watch it the whole time, was really great. And I think that that's what matters here. So I'm hoping that people, that I can personally do true crime, just to, you know, to do it well. I'm definitely putting a lot of time and effort into what I'm going to be doing, and guys, it takes a lot of prep work. So for like creators that actually come on here and do true crime, do the research, I mean, I have the utmost respect for that, because it is hard. It is a lot of work. It is very time consuming, especially to organize it in a way that's engaging for the audience, which is why, you know, I'm going to try to use things like PowerPoint, and mostly PowerPoint to do that. But I'm also going to do a mix of things. We're going to have, like, you know, we're going to watch some videos. I have some smaller creators, and by smaller, I still mean bigger than myself, but who have done some really great, like, short documentary style stuff on the case that I want to do. And I'm going to stream them and do some commentary, which I don't think they'll have a problem with, as long as I, you know, especially if I plug their channel, because I really like some of them. So we'll do that. It's gonna be all sorts of things. We're gonna figure out what works, what doesn't, and we're gonna have a good time. We are gonna have a good time. We're definitely gonna have a good time. I'm very excited. Because Why does everything here have to be drama? Why do we all have to do drama? Why do we all have to talk about the same things? So I know, and it's disheartening when I get emails that are like, why are you stopping talk? I don't want to talk about people anymore. Like, I just don't. It doesn't mean that I'm flipping. It doesn't mean that I'm, now in support of anybody. It couldn't be further from the truth. That's not what this is about. What this is about is offering content that is different for people in this community or elsewhere, whoever, ends up finding it. And that's what matters to me. And I don't know why everything has to be about this. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I can't imagine other people aren't. It's just, and it's every day, it's worse and worse and worse. And, and then you always risk that somebody's going to put your personal information on the line. And that's inappropriate. And nobody should be doing that. And I learned that the hard way. I didn't even do anything. All I did was come in here and what happened? And the whole situation, I actually re-listened. I re-listened to the live that kind of was the catalyst to all of that happen. I listened to it and I was like, at what point in this live did I say something that would have warranted that? Because here's the thing. I literally had told this person how I felt about something prior. It wasn't news to them. And, just because, and then you hear people making stuff up because they're so desperate for drama that they're going to make things up. They're saying that I'm talking to people behind the scenes that I've never spoken to privately in my entire life. Like, where are you getting that from? Show me the receipts, please. Show me the receipts. You got receipts. You want to show me, go ahead. But you don't have any. It never happened. And people just buy into it. People flock to these channels and they're like, oh, this is so great. But these people are lying to people. They're lying. Oh my God. I'm frustrated by that. I really am. I really am. And it just, I like to think that a lot of us, that this used to be a true crime community. So at what point did we lose sight of that and, allow ourselves to be lied to constantly? And I know that's not all of you guys. There are some people, drama is human nature, but it does not what goes on here is not appropriate. And I don't believe that. I think that drama, there's a need for drama. I think that, like I've always said, I think there's an okay and acceptable way to do drama. But when it crosses lines to the point where it's dangerous, that is when I draw the line on YouTube. And it's not something that I'm going to support. But yeah, so there are people in this community that are, not like that, but I've seen it like that. That was the most bizarre thing for me is I kind of, I heard those things and I went in that chat because somebody was like, did you know that so-and-so is talking about you? And usually I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, that's usually my response. If somebody says that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Like, let them. But they're like, no, you're going to want to go see this. So I went on there and then I tried to defend myself. And then, the same people that the day before were telling me, they were like, oh, Emma, I love your content. I love your channel. You're doing such a great job. Those same people, didn't want to hear a word that came out of my mouth. They were like telling me that I'm lying, that I'm doing all of these things that are horrible based on something that comes out of somebody else's mouth, which was a lie. So riddle me that. And that was kind of my one clue. And then I wanted to come on and react. I wanted to be like, that's not true. So I did what I had to do to react. I did. I came on here and I said what I need to say. I did a short video about it, but then I moved on because how many times do we come on here and then there's a channel that's like, oh, I don't want to be part of the drama anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to, I don't want this. This is not what I want my channel to be about. I want to do real content. And then the very next day, you go on and it's the same song and dance on repeat over and over again because somebody said, of course, you talk about somebody else, guys, they're going to respond. 9 times out of 10, they're going to respond because some of you guys say some really nasty stuff about each other. So, yeah, people are going to respond, but that's just going to keep it going over and over and over and over again. So it ends with me. That's where it ends. It ends with me. I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to, if you talk about me, I'm not going to come on here and bash you. I'm not even going to address it. I'm not. because it ends with me. If I want this to stop, if I want to get my channel, if I want to like extricate myself from like what's going on here, if I continue to respond, it continues to open that door for people to come in and, come at me. And that's not what I want at all. At all. Hey, Johnny. And that's not what I want at all. I want something different for my channel. And yeah, not for me. Not for me. Not for me at all. And that's what I'm going to say though, because I'm tired of hearing people say that they don't want to do this anymore. They're not going to do this anymore. And a lot of the time it's people that like, weren't a part of this to begin with. And they've just kind of, inserted themselves into this to grow their channel. And we all know channels like that. We've all seen it. And first of all, I don't know why you'd want to do that. Second of all, if you put yourself into the drama, you purposely pick a fight with somebody to get a reaction, and then say that you don't want, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. And that's what's been grinding my gears. It's these channels that pop up every other day that are starting stuff with people for no reason, just because they see other people getting success growing their channel in this environment. But that's what I'm trying to tell people. From a business standpoint, this market is oversaturated. There is not a need for more channels like that. People, you might grow your channel very briefly, but things change so quickly here. So it's not going to last. It's not going to last. And the problem also is that a lot of people that come on here, like, if you're going to come on here and you're really going to, do something big, you have to do it better than the people that are already doing things that are big. And I don't see any of that either. So I'm sorry, I just don't. And yeah, that's where I stand on that. I don't know if that, if that's mean, it's mean. If that hurts somebody's feelings, it hurts somebody's feelings. But I'm really not seeing a whole lot of unique anything going on anymore at this point. And I'm not talking about the established channels that have been here. That doesn't apply. Once you've made it to a certain point, you're golden. Like, you're not, I have nothing, I'm not talking about you. But yeah, right, Crystal, I do want to, right. And I'm going to ignore it. That's what I'm going to do, because if I respond, then somebody's just going to respond back to me. And the point of the matter though, is that, what people come at me for half the time isn't true. And that's what makes it even harder for me to not, come on here and respond to. Because, it's rough when you see things being said about you on the internet that, are so far from truth. But that's the other thing. I encourage people, you want to say, if you say something, where's your receipt? Where's your proof? And then if you're believing what people say without proof, then, that might be a clue to take a self-inventory and be like, why am I believing absolutely everything that comes out of people's mouths? Especially people that we know lie. That's a little concerning as well, because I just see so much of it and I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I don't want to be part of that. So what I'm going to be doing going forward, I've been very clear with what my new goal and aim is. I want to do something that I'm proud of. I want to do something that I'm not embarrassed to share my YouTube channel with people. I want to be somewhere where people can go and we can actually do true crime, but actually, and not just, put together a live that has a title that says it's true crime, but isn't, because you go in and almost immediately either the chat derails it or whatever, and it's not true crime, because that happens so much. And I also don't want to do just true crime where it's people just streaming stuff. That's not what I want either. I don't want to just do that, because that first of all, that's boring to me. Second of all, that doesn't take that's not unique. That's somebody else's content that you're using as your own and streaming. So that's not what I'm looking to do either. I'm going to do a little bit of that, but I'm going to do commentary on top of it. That's not going to be the main focus of what I do. I focus more on having discussions, because I have a small chat. I have a small channel. So I'm able to have those discussions. I'm able to host those things, which is unique, because once you get bigger in that, you can't do it as much. And that's where things, and Thanos, I've actually used that quote. It's easier to fool someone than convince them that they've been fooled. I've actually used that quote many, many times in my experience on here. Hey, Candy Kisses, good to see you. Yeah, it's hard not to, right. The power is in silence. Exactly. People don't like the silence. People hate it. They want to be relevant. They want you to respond. And if you don't, you don't. Is that, who said that? Thanos, that okay. I actually didn't know who said that quote, but I've used it. That's one of my favorites, especially in this community. But it's true. It's so true. And I'm just like, I'm not going to give that to people. I'm not on here to build my channel based on lies and hurt and deception and bullying, and that's not what, when people look for me on YouTube, that's not what I want my name associated with. That's not what I want to build my channel and have my success on. I don't want to have my success built on the hate of somebody else. I just don't. And that's for me personally, because I want to offer something different. And, if it's not successful, it's not successful. But for whoever does want to come to my channel, whoever does want to participate in that and have something different, that's what I'm here for. And I don't care if it's one person, if it's two people, if it's five people. I don't care if it's nobody. Clearly, I'm very capable of just talking to myself. But I'm glad to see that there are, and I've seen names that I've never, seen before. I saw names that I had not seen in my channel yesterday. I've seen them in others, but I had never seen them on mine. And that's if I can drive any point home at this point, if I could just be clear about one certain thing today, it's that I don't want people to feel that they can't chat here. Because you can. Nobody, I'm not associating myself with either side, quote unquote, at this point. So your being in my chat should not be translated into you're supporting one of those bigger creators or the other, because I am not on either side. I'm not even claiming to be neutral. I'm just not a part of it. But so if you there's a lot of people do, they get attacked. They'll see you in another chat, and the minute you're in a chat, they'll be like, I thought you supported so and so. Why are you in here? You blah 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 blah. But no one's gonna do that in here. I'm gonna call them out on it, because I just want people to be able to have conversations in here. So if you want to chat, please, by all means. I don't care where I know your name from. I don't care about any of those things. I just care that, if you want to do something different on YouTube, you want to talk about something different, you want to have a conversation, you're welcome here. And if anybody says anything to you, I'll call them out. Because that's the one thing I ask of my chatters is for people to be respectful, for people to not, do they shake my belief? I don't think so. It takes a lot to shake me. It takes a lot to upset me. Actually, I'm a very easygoing person. Until I'm not, but I'm very laid back. I get over things real quickly. I don't hold grudges. I can't. Life's too short for that for me. I much prefer just being calm and collected. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. A lot of people like to see you, you come on here and act a fool. A lot of people enjoy that. There's a reason that, cars on the highway back up when there's an accident. Everybody likes a good train wreck. Everybody likes a good accident. How I am. I mean, I present myself in a way that I'm not comfortable presenting myself like that. I'm just not. So, and that's the worst part though, is that if you're from this community, because people recognize my name from this community, they expect you to behave a certain way, or to side with somebody, or to be one way or another, or to do drama. And it's like, I don't care. If I get backlash, I get backlash. I'm going to continue doing what I want to do. I'm going to continue to do something different. And nothing is going to sway me from that at this point. Nothing. I think we had yesterday was just my proof. Any questions I had in my mind about moving forward and doing something different are out the window at this point. We had a great time last night. So like I said, if you haven't seen that live, it is up. It's posted. If you haven't watched it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, get into the algorithm of time and space, and kind of get my name out there, because I'm going to be doing some big things. And I'm not just talking about using my dad, like having my dad come on as a special guest. I'm also talking about other people. I have some other people in mind. Plus my dad, has friends and people that specialize in other things that I know he'd be willing to help me get on here. To help me bring on here to share their expert opinion as well. Because I do know them. Like, there are people that have been at my dinner table at my parents' many, many times. So I would love to be able to bring that to you guys as well. Because that's something unique. If you're entering a market, that's something unique that I have to offer. And, it might not be on my own merit, but, it's my family and it's my family friends. And I have that to offer. And if they're willing to come on my channel, and which I've, I'm under the impression that they are. That's what I would like to offer to you guys. I would like that is the unique thing that I have that I would like to offer. On top of that, however, I will be doing my own take on true crime starting tomorrow night. And we will be, I believe I'm going to do that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe that will be a good time for that. So we will be starting our discussion of the Columbine Massacre. And we're going to just do an overview tomorrow, kind of go into some of the basics, and then we're going to really go into the deep dive. But that's what my plan is for tomorrow. I hope people join me. I might be on later tonight. I probably will be. Because like I said, I've got a lot of time on my hands right now. So I might come on later tonight. I don't think I'll have a topic for tonight. It depends. If I have enough to stream tonight, then I'm gonna have something put together. We might go down some true crime paths tonight as well. If anybody's interested in doing that, I have some things I might want to share. I also plan on restreaming last night's live at some point in the future, just doing like a watch party where I can be in the chat more than I was. And for those people who have not watched it yet or would like to watch it again, we can do a what is it that I find about true crime that's fascinating? Well, what I find that's fascinating about true crime, Thanos, honestly, is the psychology behind it, is why people behave the way that they do. That is what fascinates me. I believe that, there are some horrible things that humans can do to each other. And for me, I always need to know why. I am the queen of asking why. And that is what fascinates me. It fascinates me, the things that people are capable, what is going through their head, what leads people to cross that threshold into, no return, really. Because it's one thing to think about those kinds of things, because I have a very dark, morbid curiosity. And I don't necessarily share that on here, but because not everybody thinks that way, and that's not what the take I want to have. But, it's one thing to think about things. It's another to act on it. And what causes people to, that's what I'm fascinated by. It's the psychology behind it. It's the thought process. That's what it is. And I think that a lot of people in this community share that. A lot of times people are like, how could somebody do that? Have I ever met a serial killer? Not that I know of. I know that my dad has corresponded with a few infamous ones. But I have not. No, I have not been able to do that. My dad's interviewed a few as well, but not me. Not that I know of anyways. I've met people that I am thoroughly convinced could have it in them. I know a lot of people say that they have it. I've met one particular person who I know is capable of those things. I not doubt in my mind, but you have. Okay. I have not met anybody. I obviously, I'm not privy to the same, I don't have access to the same people that my dad does, but I've kind of lived vicariously through that and been able to hear his stories and his experiences, which has been really interesting as well. So, but I am probably going to get off of here now. I'm going to go get some stuff done. I thank everybody for joining me this morning. I will probably be back on later, and I hope to see many of you there. Like I said, we might do a little bit of true crime. We might. We also might do just some chit chat. It really depends on what goes on today. It depends on how much I can get together for you guys. But I would love to see you all, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later.